Hello and welcome to today's session. My name is Stacey Buttel. I am a career facilitator for Goodwill Columbus in the Workforce Development Department. We are streaming on both Facebook and YouTube right now. So Goodwill Columbus Workforce Development Department is your free resource for everything job related. Are you looking to change a job right now? Need a little assistance in their career search? Are you looking for a new job? Just entering the workforce? Or maybe need some training, we can help. Just reach out to us at that right there, our email and our phone number, and we will connect you with a career consultant. So today I am very happy to introduce our guest. Our guest is Jennifer Sharp. We are going to be talking about what employers look for in potential candidates and what really can make someone stand out from the crowd. So this is Ms. Jennifer Sharp. She is the Administrative Services Manager for OSU Physicians. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jennifer.
Oh, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So how about you start off by tell us about yourself, your experience and your position within your company.
So I am the Administrative Services Manager at OSU Physicians, which is a glorified title for super support person. Generally, this type of a position does require a degree, whether it be administration in business or management. However, with multiple years of experience and skill set enhancement, you can actually get this position. So usually it does require some level of support to higher level executives, but you're also in charge of managing all administrative services. So it could be courier mail services, it can be procurement, it could be adherence to contracts. In addition to all that, it's facilities planning, tenant improvement. I also coordinate for our board of directors, which is about 33 members, 20 of which are clinical department chairs over at the Medical Center for Ohio State University. So it's a very all-encompassing position. I've been doing this type of work for over 30 years. So anything in administrative support or supervisory would obviously get you into this type of a role.
Awesome. And how many years have you been involved in the hiring process?
Well over 15 years. I've been in this position for 8 years. And in my previous position, I also helped secure new candidates in various roles and sitting in on interviews for various levels of employment. So I've been actively involved in hiring for quite some time.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I'm excited to hear your expertise and help us out. All right. So tell us about your company and your company's mission.
So we are affiliated with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. So the physicians that are at the medical center are dual employed. They're dual employed as a physician as well as an educator in the College of Medicine. So my company at the corporate office, we are in charge of managing all of their human resources, their financing, their budgeting, information technology and security, HIPAA compliance, coding, anything that is really the back end of a physician. They see the patient, we do everything else at my company. So our mission is in alignment with the medical center and improving people's lives through innovation and research, education, and patient care. So it kind of is overarching. We have some sub values and sub mission statements, but we do align with the medical center with that regard.
You have a pretty big job.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with giving some advice to some people who are looking for jobs and how they can stand out from the crowd. So as a part of the hiring process, what really makes a candidate stick out to you?
So first and foremost, resume. Me being an administrative type of a position, I immediately look for misspellings. I look for marginal errors. I look for bullets. I look for no more than 2 fonts on a page. I look for verb agreements. So if you're currently employed, all of your job duties should be listed current tense. For previous employers, everything should be in past tense. Now, given the position for which people are applying, I tend to let go on some of those specifics. But for something when in my position, if I can't look at your resume and say, okay, it's clean cut, marginally perfect, then it's going to come past me. There are probably a multitude of candidates that would have been really good candidates that I have bypassed simply on the appearance of their resume. We don't need a lot of fluff. We're not looking for all this ornate or graphical kind of thing. You don't have to take up blank space, but your resume is your billboard. It's the one thing that we're going to look at to get you in the door. So it's got to be perfect and it's got to look good. Secondly, when interviewing folks, I always look for strong interview skills. That is a lot of confidence. I want a firm handshake. I want to look in the eye. I'm not one to sit and ask questions from a typed piece of paper. I engage in conversation. I believe engaging in conversation, people tend to become more relaxed, more natural. You get to know the person. You can put anything you want on a resume in terms of your experience and skill set. But if you're not an individual that is accountable, that can back up what they do and what they've written down, or can actually engage in conversation, then, you're not really being the full candidate that I'm looking for. And part of communication skills is being able to hold a conversation. So I have to pull things out of you. It's a very hard interview to continue with. So those are two things we're looking for, myself in particular, when it comes to looking for candidates.
That's awesome. All right. So, well, you gave me 2 things. So what are 3 things that you recommend that a candidate do to attract an employer's attention? So you gave me 2, so why don't you knock out another one?
Okay, I'll give you another one. Sorry. I believe confidence. Is everything. And you don't have to have a title to prove to me that you've done this job or that you're qualified for this job. Skill sets that are under previous positions you've had. For instance, I've hired an assistant and she has never been an administrative assistant before, but she was a wedding planner. And so she is used to making these deliverables at high demands for the bride, the mother of the bride. And I figured if you can do that, you can do this job.
Right.
So there are certain skills that are innate. You can teach someone how to do an Excel spreadsheet, but you can't teach someone how to effectively communicate or to make sound decisions at an executive level or have that confidence or the ability to do so, work autonomously. Those are innate skills, and those are the things I look for. I can train anyone, but there are certain characteristics and attributes an individual must have in order to be a qualified candidate.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's flip it to the other side. What are 3 no-nos that potential candidates do to really turn off the employer?
Well, I know it's cliche and it seems kind of obvious, but when you come to an interview, dress for the part. I should use dress for the interview. Even if you are applying for a custodian's job and you know that the position is not going to be something that outside of jeans or carpenter pants, still show up at the interview in your best dress, because we want to take our candidates seriously. We know that we don't expect you to come in a 3-piece suit for that type of a position. Sorry. So sorry, but we do want to make sure that you take yourself seriously, and we'll take you seriously in that regard as well. Resume, again, I cannot stress resume enough. Another no-no is when you come to an interview, just be yourself. You don't need to give us all these fancy words. You don't have to fill it up with fluff. We have interviewed multiple people sitting in that chair. We can cut through the chase like anyone. We know specifically what we're looking for. We can identify, usually within 5 minutes, I know whether or not I have a viable candidate and I want to invite them back for a second interview, just based upon their presence and their responsiveness. And so if you go into an interview and you don't have a presence about yourself, you have a limp handshake, that's a huge no-no. Do never have a limp handshake. And you just don't engage in any conversation. Those are things that are going to immediately turn off your employer in looking for you as a viable candidate.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Is there any other helpful advice you would like to provide job seekers out there, especially during this pandemic?
Do not be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid to go for a position that you feel is out of your realm or out of your experience. Because I will tell you, again, I hired someone with no experience, and I wanted someone like that I could train as I wanted them to be trained. So don't feel that anything is beyond your reach. You don't know until you try. And the worst you can get in return is a thank you, no thank you letter. And that's okay. Also remember that it's not just the employer interviewing you as a candidate. You're also interviewing the employer. It has to be a perfect fit. And as hard as it may be at times to consider an interview and I need that job, but it's just not the right one, don't go for it. Don't put yourself in that position, because you're going to end up leaving it. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to put in 100% at the end of the day. And that's going to affect you as well. I mean, we all want to do good at our jobs and we want to be proud of the work that we do. And so it has to be a good fit. And I have advised many people that have had experiences with their current employers that, it just has to be, if it's not a good fit for you, then you shouldn't be there. So don't be so anxious to take the person that comes along. Make sure it's what you want, and that's okay to be selective. But particularly with the pandemic, we're looking for people that are flexible. We have deployed majority of our folks to work from home. And of course, that takes some juggling at home, especially if you have little ones or you're a caretaker. Equipment, obviously, you got to be flexible with that. And in the medical field, we are essential employees. So I myself am being deployed to work a shift at a hospital. I have to do a screening station, and that's okay. You know, we are ready to jump in where we need to jump in. And you may be asked to pick up extra hours, extra shifts. Show that flexibility. In the long run, we're all glad to be employed. And if that means I take on extra hours and I'm taking people's temperature when they come to the hospital and I'm completely PPE'd up, it's okay. I have a job, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So, you know, be eager. Don't take anything less than what you deserve. But don't also have this. There's a fine line of entitlement as well. So be careful with that. But just make sure you're flexible, because we need it. It's so undetermined right now what's coming ahead of us. And so we need our staff to be ready to jump in and do what we need them to do, ourselves included.
That is some really powerful advice. Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us today. I know that what you said and what the feedback that you gave will help out so many job seekers out there. Great advice. Thank you so much. I know, like, you are crazy busy. So I am going to let you go. And thank you so much again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Well, definitely thank you to Jennifer Sharp again. Such great advice that she shared with us. Again, my name is Stacey Buttel. I am a career facilitator at Goodwill Columbus Workforce Development Department. We are your free resource for anything job related. Remember, we can help you out with your resume. Remember what Jennifer said, your interview skills, all of those are so important, and we can help. Please contact us at the contact information below, and we will connect you with a career consultant. You guys have a great and blessed and safe day. Thanks for joining us.